Roman's secret plan exposed. Bloodline turns dark. Roman's empire cracks. Jacob Fatu's mission revealed. The Bloodline's new era. Could Roman Reigns have been planning the destruction of the Bloodline from the very beginning? And what if the biggest threat to the family empire isn't someone trying to defeat Roman, but Roman himself creating the perfect setup for something much bigger? For years, fans have watched the Bloodline transform from a family alliance into the most powerful and dangerous force in WWE. But now, something feels different. The atmosphere has changed. The way Roman Reigns carries himself has changed. The way everyone around him reacts has changed. It feels like we are watching a completely new version of the Bloodline, one that isn't just protecting the family name anymore, but one that is willing to destroy anyone who stands in its way. And that's what makes this situation so interesting. Because when you look back at Roman's entire journey, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. Roman Reigns has always been several steps ahead of everyone else. While others chase moments, Roman creates moments. While others react to chaos, Roman usually creates the chaos himself. But could this latest chapter be his biggest plan yet? The Bloodline going full heel isn't just about becoming villains. This feels deeper. It feels calculated. It feels like something that has been building quietly for a long time. And if Roman Reigns truly has a master plan, then everyone around him might already be caught inside it. Think about the history of the Bloodline. When Roman first became the tribal chief, many fans believed it was just a character change. A superstar finally embracing his darker side and becoming the dominant force WWE needed. But as the years passed, fans started realizing that Roman wasn't just playing a role. He was building an empire. He surrounded himself with loyalty. He demanded respect. He created a system where everyone knew their position. And honestly, one of the most interesting things about Roman was that he never needed to scream to control a room. Some wrestlers need 10 minutes on the microphone to make an impact. Roman can simply look at someone, pause, and suddenly everyone knows something serious is about to happen. That quiet confidence has always been one of his biggest weapons. But now the question remains, what is the endgame? Because the Bloodline has changed. The family bond that once held everyone together has slowly transformed into something darker. The idea of protecting the family has started becoming an idea of controlling the family. And that difference changes everything. A leader protects his people, but a manipulator makes people believe they cannot survive without him. That has always been the fascinating part of Roman's character. He doesn't just want followers. He wants complete belief. He wants everyone around him to believe that without him, everything falls apart. And maybe that is exactly why Jacob Fatu's role has become so important. When Jacob entered the picture, fans immediately noticed something different. He wasn't just another person added to the group. He brought a level of intensity and unpredictability that changed the entire balance. He didn't look like someone who needed Roman's approval. And that might be the most dangerous thing. Because throughout the Bloodline's history, Roman has always been surrounded by people who needed his guidance or wanted his acceptance. But what happens when someone joins who doesn't fear him? What happens when someone powerful enough to stand beside Roman is also powerful enough to challenge him? That is where the mystery starts. Maybe Roman doesn't see Jacob as a threat. Maybe Roman sees him as a weapon. And that is a scary thought. Because Roman Reigns has always been at his most dangerous when people underestimate his patience. He doesn't rush. He waits. He watches. He allows situations to develop until everyone thinks they understand what is happening. Then suddenly, he reveals that he was in control the entire time. It's almost like watching someone play chess while everyone else is still arguing about the first move. And yes, wrestling fans have seen this before. We have all had those moments where we say, there is no way they planned this far ahead, and then WWE somehow reveals that the clues were there all along. Sometimes it works perfectly. Sometimes fans are left saying, wait, that was actually the plan? But with Roman, the confusion is part of the story. The biggest question is whether this new darker bloodline is Roman's final evolution or the beginning of his downfall. Because history has shown that every great empire eventually faces a problem. The stronger someone becomes, the more people start wondering if they should be the one holding the power. Roman's biggest strength has always been the same thing that could destroy him: his need for control. He wants loyalty, but loyalty built on fear never lasts forever. Eventually, someone questions the system. Eventually, someone stops listening. Eventually, someone asks why Roman gets to make every decision. And that moment could be closer than anyone expects. The interesting thing about Roman Reigns is that he doesn't need to be a loud villain. He doesn't need to attack everyone just to prove a point. The most dangerous version of Roman is the one who believes he is completely right. That's what makes this character so compelling. A villain who knows he is evil is simple. But a villain who believes he is saving everyone? That's where things become complicated. Roman could genuinely believe that every decision he makes is for the bloodline's benefit. He could believe that sacrifices are necessary. He could believe that removing certain people is the only way to protect the empire he built. And that's why fans debate this story so much. Because somewhere inside all the manipulation, there is a tiny bit of logic. A very dangerous tiny bit, but still. Now imagine this continues. Imagine the bloodline becomes even more aggressive. Imagine Roman removes anyone who doesn't fully support him. Imagine Jacob Fatu becomes the unstoppable force protecting Roman's vision. At first, it could look impossible to stop. Everyone would believe Roman created the perfect machine. But the problem with machines is they eventually break. The people inside the bloodline aren't robots. They have pride. They have ambition. They have their own dreams. And that's where the cracks begin to appear. Maybe someone close to Roman realizes they are no longer family. They're just soldiers. Maybe someone gets tired of living under the tribal chief's shadow. Maybe Jacob Fatu himself starts questioning whether he joined the bloodline or whether the bloodline simply used him. And that would be the ultimate twist. Because the same person Roman uses to strengthen his empire could become the person who destroys it. That's what makes this storyline so interesting. There are so many directions it can go. Roman Reigns has spent years creating a legacy where everyone revolves around him. But the bigger the empire becomes, the harder it gets to hide the problems inside it. Fans have started noticing the small details. The reactions. The body language. The moments where someone looks at Roman differently. Those tiny details might not seem important at first, but later they could become the clues everyone goes back to. That's what makes wrestling storytelling fun. Sometimes the biggest moments aren't the explosions. They're the quiet moments nobody notices until everything changes. So the big question now is this: is Roman Reigns truly controlling the bloodline, or is he creating the very thing that will eventually overthrow him? Because every king eventually faces someone who believes they deserve the crown. And with Jacob Fatu involved, that